We're not actually closing this library. Obviously, we did have to consider it as part of our budgetary savings. Across London, they've been closing libraries, proposing to close libraries this year. Because of the sheer budget numbers, originally we thought it was 40 million. It's now 26 million as a result of the spending announcement by the government. So we did have to make savings in the council this year. So I'll be honest with you that I did consider the closure of this library and Colliers Wood Library, but I believe that libraries are important, and I was able to make the savings elsewhere to ensure that this library does remain open next year. However, we have had to make other savings, and that has included a restructure of the whole library service, and which unfortunately will mean this library will be proposed to be closed on Mondays and Colliers Wood on a Friday.
Can I ask how much you're going to save by closing this library on one day, and what's the basis of that figure?
I think the overall saving in the borough in terms of the whole library reorganisation and the change in opening hours is a saving of £130,000.
No, it's a net saving of 118,000.
That isn't the question I asked. I asked about the closing of this library. How much is it going to save, and what is that saving based on?
Well, in terms of actually closing down West Barnes Library,
No, one day,
for one day.
closing it for one day, I haven't got the exact figures in front of me, but £21,000. Yes.
And that is based on what are you actually saving the money on?
It's staffing reductions.
Just staff.
Yes.
Have there been any plans to look at possibly looking at volunteer ancillaries?
Well, can I say that? I mean, I think that's a very good point in terms of looking at volunteer people. My view is if volunteers want to come forward and want to ensure that this library is open on Monday and Wednesday, the authority would be very willing to actually consider that proposal.
Well, I volunteer.
Because I mean, if forward, then we can actually look at.
You've now tied the community into 2 specific days.
Yes.
Surely it would have been better to consult the community first.
Well, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here this evening, actually
so, as I
consulting,
just said,
consulting the community.
But you're coming to us with a proposal, or with what is essentially a fait accompli. You've not come to us saying how would you do it, have you?
Well, I mean, it's not a fait accompli. It has to be approved by council.
Any
But
danger
clearly,
it
I'm
won't
here
be?
this evening to explain that we have to make these savings, and as one of those savings is that we will be proposing to close West Barnes for an additional day a week, but opening during lunch hours.
It's an insult to assume that volunteers can do the job of a trained librarian. And where will it end? Will we be volunteering to work in surgeries, take our rubbish to the... and I'm being serious, because that's what is being suggested when they talk about volunteers.
No, I'm not suggesting we talk about volunteers. We already have volunteers.
Oh, I know that,
Yeah.
yes.
We've worked with volunteers for many years.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. And I think what we're proposing in our volunteers, not proposing, implementing in our volunteer strategy, is actually defined roles for volunteers which do not replace what staff are doing. I would not expect our staff to be doing the trained work of library I wouldn't expect volunteers to be doing the trained work of library staff. We've made a very clear distinction between staff roles and volunteer roles in this whole programme. You asked me how I feel about the loss of staff. I'm sorry to lose staff. I can only say that. However, I am mandated to find savings. I cannot find savings anymore. We've been paired year on year on year. We're actually the most cost-effective library service in London. And therefore, if I have to find savings, where do I find them? I think that is a real conundrum, and unfortunately, this is the way we've had to go.